I pursue with great passion. And before we start, we have to understand what a model is. And it is a mathematical formulation of a simplified representation of the real world. That's the basic definition of a model, that it is a mathematical formulation. So you have been doing something like this since your high school. You have been working and learning uh, various equations and model strategies to solve your problems. That is exactly what transport modeling is, basically modeling is. And it's used to develop a computer simulation of a real world scenario. So it allows us to uh, predict or formulate strategies which we have in our policies, run them in a computer simulation, and see and check if they are going to be as effective as we think they are. And for that, we do transport modeling. Now, I'll be talking if so, we will be discussing today if this is going to be relevant for the Indian scenario, for the Indian cities, if they are ready for it. What are the advances in this field? Why is this relevant to you as an urban planner, as a transport planner, as an architect, even? Because modeling is what you do when you want to simulate in a computer program. But this picture, I'm sorry, but you must have seen this at least a million times since you started studying at SPA Bhopal. And this is the metro line, which is going to start, I guess, in less than a year now. And this statement by MPMRCL interests me, that Bhopal city would receive 5 stations, and they have invested a lot of money, and after more than a decade of planning. So we understand that there's a lot of planning that goes on, and I'm sure you must have been aware of all of these planning aspects that go on behind this kind of planning, to have the route which is specifically in that place because of a reason, so that it can serve the general public, so that it can reduce traffic and congestions on the road and relieve the scenario, and so on. You have been going through cost benefit analysis and many such kinds of things, and that is exactly what is modeling. But we'll go a bit further, we'll push the boundaries today and see actually what more can be done for this. This is when where you are right now, or just before I was at SPA. This was the Commonwealth Games, which was going on at Delhi. And as you can see, these are all the media statements where they're saying that it's going to be chaotic, the traffic congestion is going to be off the charts, and Delhi will suffer during the Commonwealth Games because they are going to be more than 2 crore uh, of floating population. And the Urban Development Ministry, well, this was 10 years back, they had a mobility plan which they worked on so that they could have such kinds of special events or games in the city with ease of without disturbing the service or the population. And I remember that they had given dedicated lanes for people to use in the Commonwealth during the Commonwealth Games. And after all of this, there were, of course, problems which came up and were studied by us. Now, I know for a fact that this is I mean, we did not have transport modeling of the kind that we're going to discuss, but this is another study which was 2 years later in London, 2012, where they won the bid for Olympic Games, and again, based on the events in Delhi and other cities all over the world, people started discussing. And well, honorable people, he's the CEO of Rail Network in UK. they started coming ahead to tell that it's going to be difficult during the times, and so we need to prepare. The politicians were after the program coordinators saying that yes, we need to do something about it, and as we can see through the statistics, there were more than a crore people of floating population just for the games in London in 2012. Well, bad things will happen was the statement, and you can see that all of the public transport and all of those city facilities, infrastructures, they needed to be reevaluated. What these guys did was they worked on a model again. That is the that is why we are speaking today, and this was a interaction model for strategy development. And what they did, they considered the events, the timings, the floating population, the road network, congestion, and everything into it in different hierarchical tiers. At the bottommost tier were these game inputs. This was where they had the general population which comes and goes in London basically, and all the events which uh, are taking place usually and then during the games as well. And you can see this map where they could identify the locations where there's going to be chaos. The red lines and the thickness indicates congestion. The green lines, they indicate the dedicated lanes. And so basically they modeled the whole thing. And I'm sure you must have, if you are a transport planner, you must have used PTV Visum, or of course worked on demand models, supply demand models, or cost benefit analysis, and such kind of Excel based uh, classic models as well. And after all of this, the result which they achieved was that the transport strategy was a success. They did not face as many problems as they could have or other cities usually face. And for analysts going on the TV in the breaking news, on the interview sessions for about a week, telling everyone how they worked out these strategies, how they modeled every traffic signal, every infrastructure, mode of transport, and every minor detail so that they could make lives easier for the people. Now, before we go into what transport models are and more, I would like to know a bit about what your understanding is. So, if I may request you all to go to menti.com and use this code 2714 5930. I'll